Yeah, he hates you and me because we're both lolcows.
Okay, well that's fair. I mean, I don't really mind. Like, I don't really
Ooh.
mind.
You just called Marty a lolcow. Ooh. That's gotta be like, imagine somebody's talking to you. Oh my god, that would hurt my soul, bro.
How's it going today, ladies and gentlemen? It's been a while since we saw Mr. 3K in the bank, the leaping lemur. He's basically vanished. He's taken the Bill Cosby mural off the door and he's vanished into the ether. But that doesn't mean he didn't leave us with a lot to work with before he departed. Matter of fact, there's a video or two I haven't even covered on this channel. I may have looked at it on live stream, but the majority of us haven't looked at it. And not only that, while I was watching that video, a 2-hour compilation of Nova Online popped up by the leaping lemur in my feed, and I'm like, well, we know how hypocritical he was with Nova. Let's go through a 2-hour video and see what I can find. And guys, it was so bad. Just basically everything he would say about Nova Online, you could just like put it onto Lemur, and sometimes it, like the things that Lemur did was far worse. But it doesn't even stop there. There was this guy called Jumanji that he was covering, and I swear it was basically a 1-to-1 with the teeth gum situation. You literally can't make this up, how hypocritical the leaping lemur was. So I don't want to hold you guys too long in the intro. It's been a while since we've seen Mr. 3K in the bank, Mr. Bass nephew, the only guy they may call Cheesehead, and he's not a fan of the Green Bay Packers, the leaping lemur. So let's jump right into this. No pun intended.
First, y'all, Nova decides that he wants to talk about me on a shitty Hour of Joy podcast. And that's one thing. But get this, y'all. Homie came into my live stream with his little manager. Turns out his manager is a and he's been flirting with her. Now, we're going to get to all that. But first, like I said, Nova mentioned me on his shitty podcast. So let me just show y'all this dumbass motherfucker thinking that he can talk shit about me. And to be honest with y'all, I didn't even know Nova talked about me until this morning. I was watching Kiwi Tape's video, and I seen that he mentioned me in his little podcast, and I only seen a little portion of it, but I continue watching during my live stream, and I seen that he talked about me like numerous times. I mean, that clip that I just showed you isn't even the only time he talked about me in that podcast. It seemed like for some reason the whole podcast, they were like just going through my YouTube page and looking at the different shit I uploaded. Even at one point taking the time to count how many videos I uploaded with his name in it.
But yeah, anyways, let's get back to the leaping lemur. Because I think he's made the most videos about me.
I believe so. They made like 1, 2, 3, 4 videos?
Let's count them up. 1,
Okay.
2, 3.
3. And then he made a short about you.
Yeah, that too. 4, 5.
Ooh, what 5? 6.
6.
It was pretty cringe, bro. Like, I really don't care about you, Nova. All the videos I make about you are making fun of you and talking shit about you. You know, it's not some like big slam dunk to say that I made a lot of videos about you, because they're all about how you're and you can't stop eating, and about how you text. I mean, I make videos about a lot of people, you know what I mean? I have a bunch of videos on my channel. But if you're somebody that I'm making videos about, that's not a good thing. But I guess I struck a nerve with Nova because he showed up to my YouTube live stream, started talking shit about me, and then next thing you know, his little manager Sia showed up. And I decided to take the time to ask them some questions. So, you know, I started asking Sia about why she's talking to Nova, if she knows about all the things that he did, and she basically tells me that she's just in it for the trolling. When I heard that answer, I'm like, there's no like adult that's gonna respond with that, right? So I started asking her, like, how old are you? And the response I got was pretty shocking. It was an immediate admission that she was only 15 years old.
You was watching the Great Kiwi tapes while you was making this Nova Online video, Lemur? That's so crazy. I wonder if Lemur was sitting there like, oh, this dastardly Kiwi tapes is stealing from me right now, just to go and glaze them in the video. Like, that's so insane. The Kiwi tapes helped Lemur out a lot. You guys don't even understand. Kiwi tapes was a huge inspiration to Lemur. Not only that, but you know, actually gave him the time of day, talked to him, and would help him out with some things when he needed it. But as soon as Lemur got a hold of Lily and started talking about the other content creators, everything Kiwi Tapes ever did for him, throw it out the window. He's a terrible person. He's evil, in fact. He steals from all of us. And what has Kiwi Tapes ever stolen? I don't recall anything of his ever been stolen. And if he's talking about like ideas, well, of course, we're in a similar niche. Of course, you see somebody like, oh, okay, people like this content. All right, maybe I'll consider making a video on it myself. You don't always, but sometimes you do, especially if it's a person you're like very similar to the other people you cover. That just makes complete and total sense. Not only would Kiwi do that, you would do that as well, Lemur. And maybe it is annoying because somebody will drop a video right before you do. Like, yeah, sure, it is what it is, but you know, it's not stealing. They were just ahead of you. That's the name of the game. But for some reason, Lemur just wanted to make himself seem so cool and blew it out of proportion. Like, yeah, you see this 200k YouTuber Lily? He copies off me. You know, I am the man. And not only am I the man, but I have 3k in the bank. I'll get you a dog and a cat in a house. Don't worry about it. In California. And another thing that I noticed about his commentaries, Lemurs, while I was making this video, is that he curses a lot. Like, it's just non-stop curse words. I felt like I had to censor so much. It's like, can you not get through a sentence without, like, cussing? I don't know. We're all adults here, but I think when you're giving a commentary, you should actually be giving your opinions and some thoughts. Maybe a joke or two. I don't know. Maybe a joke instead of just, like, cussing the entire time to make your point. The dude is straight operating like a drunk man, and that's such a coincidence how things ended up.
And second off, look at you, dude. No woman's gonna want to touch you. Really, dude? You think that you're gonna be able to get a girlfriend after all the grotesque shit that you've done online? All the images that come up when you Google Nova Online. It's just a bunch of pictures of you in diapers and pacifiers, bro. It's wild. You're never gonna be able to have a regular life. It's over for you. You're cooked. So yeah, honestly, y'all, watching that video back, I forgot how much Nova was on my nuts. Like, bro was talking about me on his podcast, counting how many videos I made on him. He was like real serious into that shit. And I think he is still to this day. Like, he has me blocked on TikTok. He can't stand that I talk about him. It's pretty nuts. There's not really much else I can say about that video. There was a little bit of a resurgence from Sia when Bloodspeth was told that he had messages from her, but those turned out to be like false messages. I don't know if she made them or if somebody was pretending to be Sia, but either way, they turned out to be false, so we haven't seen her since. After this, we get to see Nova's response, and basically in his response, he seems really scared. Like, he's trying to say that Sia's in college, she's not 15, even though she said she was 15, like pretty clear as day, right? And that's been the consensus since she stopped talking to him. It's like, yeah, she's a teenager, and then she just stopped talking to him after he started being creepy. This is the fucking content Nova decided to go and post after being exposed as a pedophile. I mean, no response, no apology, no immediate firing of Sia, just some more stupid drink and food reviews. Like, anybody gives a what Nova thinks about Monster Energy. I mean, Nova's usually pretty unlikable, but it seems like he comes off even more unlikable in this video. I don't even know how that's possible, but oh my god, bro, saying that Monster is the thing that got you famous, like, how can somebody be so insecure and cocky at the same time? I don't understand it, dude. Everything you say, it doesn't have any confidence behind it, but yet you still say it. Like, nothing you say really has any validity behind it. Like, it has no strength behind it. You'll say some shit, but it really doesn't sound like you mean it. I mean, especially in that response video, you can hear how shaky he is, how he's stuttering. Doesn't seem like he really knows what the he's gonna say next. So nobody tries to get too complex with it. So what's the point of reviewing this grape soda? Nobody's interested in this shit. Nobody wants to see you chug a grape soda. It doesn't make any sense, bro. Like, who's watching this shit? I don't understand. I think the only reason that this video got as many views as it did is because he has that stomach shot in the beginning. I mean, you don't gotta do that, bro. You could pick the camera up a couple inches and you would have been good, man. But you done exposed like your whole stomach. Why did you do that to yourself? You already know how people online are. When Nova does stuff like this, it makes me think that he might have some kind of humiliation thing going on, because I feel like he already knows that people in the comments are going to start making fun of him, right? What else would they be doing? They're going to be taking screenshots of that. It's going to be shared all over the place, man. I mean, look at this stomach shot. He knows what he's doing. I think he wants people to comment this shit.
Nova, do you really think you're going to be able to get a girlfriend without $3,000 in a bank? Lemur will have you know he almost had $6,000 in savings at one point. Do you know what that means? The man can get married. You just don't understand, like, the luxuries of life. It doesn't matter if you got $2,999, single. As soon as you hit 3K, you're a man with a plan and a girlfriend. You can buy her a house, you can buy her a cat, you can buy her a dog, and you guys could just leap into happiness. You know, it's wrote down somewhere. I don't know where, but somewhere it is, because this is just a universal truth. At least to Lemur it is. And it's so wild. He's sitting there telling Nova, like, listen here, guy, no one will ever want to date you. And then this is the same dude who gets exposed for being incredibly vile. It's like, she's calling you cheesehead fool. This is bad, dummy boy. And then you basically live up to your standard of Nova that no one will want to touch you, because then you proceed to do the most heinous actions possible. Here's the thing, all jokes aside, like, Nova online is a completely reprehensible, terrible human being himself. No doubt about it. Just because it's Lemur saying it doesn't make it any less true. Nova still is terrible. But the fact of the matter is, what Lemur did was worse than Nova, because he actually has a victim and that he's done something physically to. That's why Lemur was cast out. This is why you can't accept this guy. This is why people like myself were so mind blown of what he was capable of. You were supposed to be better than that. Not even supposed to be better than that. You were supposed to be just a regular human being and not pure evil, but you failed at the bare minimum. The bar was set at 6 feet, well above your 5'9" frame, and you got clotheslined on it somehow. And just like you said with Nova, you can look up your name now forever and you will always be connected to these vile events. That's the same for you now, Lemur.
What's with lolcows and using the term fans? I don't understand it, man. They'll see these people and of course they're gonna ask to take a picture because they're probably trolls, or they don't really know enough about their online presence to know that they're that bad of people. You know, they might have heard like their name a few times on the internet and they think it's a cool thing to take a picture with them, whatever. It doesn't really matter either way. At the end of the day, those people aren't Nova's fans. So it's pretty crazy that he uses that word. I always find it funny that he calls people his fans. Even the people that follow his account, they're just following his account to see his downfall. They aren't following his account because they support Nova. At least a large majority of those people aren't. I'm sure there's a few people here and there that actually genuinely are fans of Nova's, or at the very least, they try to defend Nova in some kind of sense. There's always people online like that, right? Like some kind of contrarians or whatever. But at the end of the day, even those people probably wouldn't be sitting down and watching Nova's TikToks for fun, right? I mean, these are basically the type of people that would defend any lolcow no matter what, because they want to be contrarians or they have some kind of savior complex, right? It's weird. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to try to psychoanalyze these people that support Nova. That's not the point of this video. So let's just move on to the next topic, right, y'all? All right, y'all. So for this next topic, we're going to be talking about Nova's exercise. Now, a lot of these clips I can't really play alone because they have audio over them that's copyrighted, of course, like random songs and shit. So I'm just going to be playing them right now as I talk. And actually right now I have one playing. It's Nova boxing. It starts off pretty weird, right? He's not really doing much. He's kind of just standing there, and then he finally gets into it. Like, his form is horrible, man. I don't really know how else to describe it. He's just not punching good. Like, if he was in a fight, he'd be knocked out already by now. That's bad form right there. I mean, he even comments on his form. He says, my boxing form is so bad, I probably punch like a drunk penguin. I mean, it might even be worse than that, man. Come on, dog. How are you moving away to breathe after like 3 punches? That is bad, Nova. That is bad. A little side tangent. I'm going to try to make this quick, but in the comments of this video, I saw this long-winded comment where it was telling people that they shouldn't blame Nova for the quality of his kitchen, that it's his parents' fault. He has 2 lazy parents that decide not to clean. It's his upbringing. All this bullshit, just basically coming up with this excuse as to why a fully grown man can't clean his house. This is a 20-year-old man. I take care of my family. Like, I provide for my family for the most part. My YouTube videos are what pays for my family to live. It's crazy that these people have this mindset that his parents should be taking care of him at the age of 20. You're a full-grown adult. You should be taking care of your mother. That's what you should be doing, or at least getting there, right? Or at least trying to get to that point. But you're never going to be able to work up to that because you can't keep a job, and because people keep enabling him and saying that it's not his fault. He's a fully grown adult. He has control over whether or not his house is dirty or not. But really, that's all I have to say. It just really irks me when people infantize these lolcows. They act like they're children or something, like they can't take care of themselves. You think Nova can't go over to the trash, pick up that pizza box and throw it away? He could definitely do that.
Isn't it crazy that the leaping lemur would come upon the same situation, but with so many screenshots provided by Teeth Gums, so much evidence to what he had done, he even admitted to it himself, threw in more heinous details that he didn't even need to mention, but he just wanted to, because I think Lemur got some sort of satisfaction off of it, just talking about the things he did to Teeth Gums. But he would always still have these people in the comment section like, Lemur is a good guy, trust me on this, all of you other people are evil, it's going to happen to you too. I mean, Lemur is a good person. I can't believe you would do this to him. And Lemur is the same guy in multiple of his videos like, look at all these people talking about Nova online defending him because they don't understand or they just want to be contrarians. I bet you was holding on and grasping to each and one of those contrarians, wasn't you, Lemur? And it's so crazy, after everything went down, Lemur acts like people are mad at him for simple reasons. Like, no, you didn't just yell at some other content creator, you didn't just release some bad video, you did something evil. That's why people are mad. That's why there's no coming back from this. People don't even entertain the thought. The only thing good about Lemur videos is the comment section anymore, because those are golden. Just absolutely golden. But we're probably not getting those anymore. No money to feed the family except for the McDonald job. Spoiler alert, it's not real, but we'll talk about that more later. I want you guys to think about this. The leaping lemur, right before this controversy went down, sent Lily a text message saying, hey, I kicked my mom out. She was no good for the family anymore. I'm the man of the house. I bring in the most income, so I just kicked her out on the streets. That's the kind of man I am. She had an addiction or something of that nature, but you know, Mr. Moneybags, Mr. 3K in the bank, he can't put her in rehab. No, he just sends her out onto the streets. What a great man. Does it for the family, this dude. And if you was such a family man, you cared about him so much, Lemur, you wouldn't have done what you did. You would think about your actions and your consequences, because if you provide for your family, your actions and consequences fall upon them. But we all know that's most likely a lie. He probably never did that. He was just spinning a tale to myself, everyone he ever talked to, that he was a super huge family man, and spent all of his money on like fake diamonds. Lemur never cared about his family. He liked the sound of being a family man. Let's just say he was no Carl Winslow. He was definitely inspired by his main man, Cosby.
Thank you, Vampin' Love. I really appreciate it, but don't call me baby. I've got a girlfriend. No one's going to Pound Town unless someone behaves. I do not look like Leslie. If I looked like her, I'd myself. Not actually, but I would hate it. Fuck off, TikTok! It's nicotine free! Why restrict my f***ing stream? Guy's a lying sack of shit. I did work with him, but a lot of the stuff he said was fake. Hey, I have a job and you don't. Hey, why don't you talk about you saying the N-word? Fuck off, Smokey. You're banned. Yeah, I just sent Smokey to f***ing Pound Town. Me and Jupiter were never f***ing friends. I'd rather than be friends with Jupiter.
Y'all, these clips are pretty crazy. I don't even know where to start. Let's just start off at the beginning. The first thing we hear is Nova talk about how he's in a multi-gendered, polyamorous relationship. Then he continues and later on says that his first girlfriend, his original girlfriend that he got with, hasn't texted him for a week. You know, doesn't even text him at all, and they might be broken up. To me, it sounds like both of them are cheating on him. It sounds like his original girlfriend doesn't want to commit anymore to him and isn't talking to him, and his best friend doesn't want to date him, so they keep giving him excuses. My theory is that this dude is being trolled. I can't imagine any sane person who would be dating Nova online. It has to be buddy trolls, right? Even if these two individuals were real, right? Even if this was a real woman and a real non-binary individual, still, they would be insane people for dating Nova, right? They would be lolcows themselves. And then Nova sits there and says that he can't break up with his first girlfriend because he truly loves her. If you truly love this woman, you would break up with her instead of leading her on. That doesn't make any sense. You're saying you truly love her, but yet you're forcing her to be in a relationship with you. She obviously doesn't want to be in it anymore. She hasn't talked to you in weeks, so just end it, dude. And then we have the clip where we see that Nova is back to working out. Well, not really. Nova's definition of working out is hitting a few reps, recording himself, maybe live streaming himself, and then immediately leaving. He doesn't stay in the gym for more than like 10 minutes, just enough to get some glamour shots and then go, you know? That's why this dude doesn't lose weight. He never does any cardio either. He always does strength exercises, like he's trying to build his muscle, when in reality, he needs to get on the treadmill. He needs to do the elliptical. He needs to work out, do some cardio, and actually sweat. Like, the only reason that this dude does that shit is so that he can tell people that he's lifting weights and try to seem like he's cool or something. It's sort of like the same thing he did with that Sia girl. And I know that a lot of those messages were fake when it came to like the message side, but he was definitely flirting with her on Instagram. Like, that was his Instagram. There's no denying that. He admitted it, and he was definitely flirting with her at the time. So my point is, like, besides the messages being very good evidence, this all seems on brand for Nova. The way that he set this shit up, the shit that he's doing, the shit that he's talking about, this has Nova written all over it. It's a very detailed story, and it feels like it would be hard to make up, right? Somebody would have to have a very creative imagination to come up with that many specific details. It's really hard to like fabricate some shit like that. I feel like a whole ass story, at least a long-winded one like this. I think it's easy for somebody to just write like, oh yeah, I had a bad experience with Nova, and leave it at that. But when it's a voice message, you can kind of hear whether or not somebody's lying. It's pretty easy to hear if somebody's thinking about what they're going to say next when they're lying, and I don't hear that in this person's voice. First of all, you shouldn't even be friends with a 19-year-old. I don't know how old Nova was at the time. Maybe he was 18. You just shouldn't be friends with those individuals if you're 15, unless, I don't know, maybe you're in high school together, but even then shit can get weird, right? Like, if you don't know this person and it's over the internet, there should be no reason why a minor is friends with this fucking full-grown adult, right? Just don't do it. Don't be friends with Nova. And I hear stories like this all the time. It's like, oh, I talked to X, Y, and Z and he was weird. Just don't talk to these people. Leave them alone. Stay out of their inboxes and shit will be fine. I don't think this person knew a lot about Nova, but this goes for anybody. If you don't know about Nova, I'm telling you right now, you don't want to come in contact with the guy. Stay away from him.
That last segment was a roller coaster of hypocrisy. Everything Lemur said, he ended up doing the same exact thing, but worse. He's like, listen, I know some of the stuff with Sia was faked. I think that's that person's name. It's been so long since I heard about him. But he's like, you know, I know most of it was fake, but I don't think people can make up that kind of story. Then later on, a couple months later, he was like, listen, I know she's got a story on hand and it seems complicated to make up and a lot of things line up, and you know, I kind of admitted to a lot of it, but trust me guys, it was all a fugazi. It was all fake. None of it even happened. I may have not even been in an Airbnb at the time. Who are you gonna trust? Me, the leaping lemur? You know, look me in the eyes, guys, as he's like a faceless YouTuber, and trust my voice. You know, I'm not a liar. Look me in the eyes. It was so maddening. I couldn't believe it as I was listening to it with Morty. Like, the mask was completely off. The lemur mask was yanked up to reveal Gilberto, Mr. Bass cousin, Mr. 3K in the bank, and nothing was ever the same since then. And when that mask was lifted, it would be revealed that the leaping lemur was in a worse condition than Nova online. Now, maybe Nova has packed on a couple more ailments along the way because he refuses to clean his room, and there were jokes that Lemur's room was as dirty as Nova's. That's not really the truth. There's so much bad stuff about Lemur that I think we should stick to. We don't even have to inflate some things, even though it's kind of funny. But on a real note, you can't be telling Nova to be hitting up the gym, hitting the treadmill, working out when you're not doing the same thing. In fact, it looks like you have never done any of those. You're the same guy who first hit me with you was like over 6 feet tall and around 210, 220. You were just a liar. Everything about you was a lie. And it was so funny when Nova was like, listen here, Smokey, I heard you say the N-word once. And it's like, I've never heard Smokey say that in general. But Lemur's just sitting there, the same guy. I wonder if it had already happened. Who's like, yeah, I did lie about being black because I said the N-word, but let's just sweep that one under the rug. They'll forget all about that. It's like no one's forgetting, dummy boy.
Well, y'all, welcome back to another video. Today, I have some pretty crazy shit to talk about. Now, last time I talked about Jumanji, this dude was talking about how he was stalking some girl from his high school. He was saying that he wanted to talk to her, he wanted to reach out to her again, so he sent his fan base after her to, I guess, try to get her attention. Now, this was a woman that he met like years and years ago and hasn't talked to since high school. He's like a grown-ass man now, but he still felt the need to reach out to her because he said he felt comfortable with her. Anyway, it was the stupidest shit in the world. If you want to go back and watch that video, you can check it out. It kind of shows how deranged this dude is. The video that you guys are about to see is the introduction that I got into this whole situation, this whole relapse that happened. He made a public video where he talked about how he relapsed and then got a new job, and then he expected the comments to be positive. He expected people not to want to see him fail, but his audience actually wanted to see him fail, and that video ended up doing great, which kind of made him butthurt because he was wondering why all his other content doesn't do great, but people want to see him fail. And it's like, yeah, that's kind of how the internet works, man. Sometimes people want to see you fail. That's how it is being a lolcow. If you say f***ed up shit or do things or, you know, try to clout chase, people are going to want to see you fail. And this doesn't just go for lolcows. This goes for anybody. Like, any public figure can have a video made on them that's like the downfall of so-and-so, and it may get 1 million views, and next thing you know, it's the trend. A bunch of other people are making videos on it. That's just how the internet works. So he made this video where he talks about how he's disappointed in his audience, and he tries to moral grandstand even though he's posting these videos of him gambling. He knows what he's doing, and now he wants to complain about it, complain that people actually watch them. You just had a major controversy where you were trying to stalk some random chick. Of course people want to see you fail at this moment.
The point that I'm trying to make is it's very, very obvious that people are only engaging with with criticism. If they're not able to criticize me, they're not engaging with my content. Why would I lose respect for that? I mean, why am I saying I'm losing respect for my following? It's because it's clear what you're here for.
I don't think I've ever seen somebody dodge accountability as hard as Jumanji's dodging it right now. This dude can't accept the fact that this is all his fault. The only reason that this shit is happening to him is because he keeps feeding into it. He keeps uploading videos. And it's not like YouTube. Like, it's crazy that you think your followers would give a shit about you losing respect for them when they have no respect for you to begin with. Who gives a f if somebody who they don't respect loses respect for them? Like, why would they care? They're just gonna watch you and laugh at you either way. I don't think anybody cares if you try to insult them. Jumanji, the guy who goes and gambles every day and has no life.
It's so crazy that you think your followers would have just listened to your lies and went along with whatever you said. I mean, when I was listening to this Jumanji video, or whatever it is, whatever this dude's name is, I think Jumanji's the movie with The Rock, but like, whatever. I was like, dude, this is like 1-to-1 what you did and what you was trying to play off afterwards. Like, if you guys don't know, after all the drama went down, like a month or so later, the Leaping Lemur had the nerve to find Lily Teeth Gums on Snapchat and start texting her like, hey, how are you doing? Are you doing okay? And when she's like, hey, stop texting me, creep, he started hitting her with, what are you talking about? I'm not the Leaping Lemur. You know, even though it's the Leaping Lemur Snapchat, like, duh. Like, he really thought that after some time went along, he could just hit up his victim and be like, hey, so, you want to talk about things? Maybe figure it out, you know, maybe we can get on a YouTube video. I'm just adding little things. I'm guessing these were his intentions. You know, get on a YouTube video and, like, proclaim my innocence, downfall of Chilla, Menace, Morty, Kiwi Tay, all of them people, yeah, I hate them so much, yeah, let's do that. And she was like, no, get away from me, creep. Like, you're evil. Stay away from me. Like, what audacity do you have to hit up your victim? That's insane work. And his return videos and just that just goes to show you guys how he really doesn't believe he did anything wrong, and he's liable to do it again by all means. If the entire internet looking at you and saying, dude, you're a creep now, you're disgusting, doesn't like convince you that, hey, maybe there's something wrong with me, then you'll never change.
All right, y'all, here we go. Welcome back to another video. It's that time of the week. It's time for me to post a few videos and make as much money off of y'all as I can. And today, I'm just going to be talking about something new that's been going on in my life so everybody can catch up on it, you know what I mean? I know a lot of y'all in the comments have been telling me to put the fries in the bag, and, you know, ironically, that's what I'm doing. I'm putting the fries in the bag. I've started a job at McDonald's. It took a while to find a McDonald's to hire me. I couldn't do one near my city, but, you know, it's a short commute to this McDonald's, and it's been pretty good so far. Now, the only thing is I'm not allowed to work the front register or interact with any customers at the moment. So right now I'm basically relegated to cleaning the toilets, cleaning up after the crew and the staff members that are there, you know what I mean? And also doing something they call bum pushing. And apparently this happens a lot at McDonald's, is that there'll be a collection of homeless individuals, or I think they call them unhoused individuals now. And, you know, they like to collect outside of the McDonald's, and every day before we open, there's this big group. So we kind of have to break up the cluster. You know how it is in California, right? So they have a guy, like a special guy, and that's me at the job. Sometimes I just call the police and I say that there's a deal going on, and next thing you know, they scatter. So that seems to be working as of right now. So it's really less of putting the fries in the bag and more of cleaning up the toilets. And I'll get to that later. That's been a hassle in and of itself, you know, but first let's talk about the pros of this job. First of all, minimum wage works perfect for me. I get a cool amount of hours and everything like that because not a lot of people want to work at McDonald's. Surprisingly, they seem to have trouble finding people. So, you know, they were really gracious with the hours and everything like that so far. So it's actually been a really cool process, like just learning about the ins and outs of a franchise, you know what I mean? And what goes into it. It's really interesting. Maybe I'll own a franchise one day. Maybe I'll, or own a, get into the franchise. I don't know how you would say it, but, maybe I'll own a McDonald's one day. Sometimes I get fries, like floor fries. We call them floor fries. And basically these are fries that fall from on top of where we keep our fries, like the warmers. And then they are on the floor, and you can just like real quick, like 5-second roll them bitches. And shit, in like a few hours, you can have 2 large fries. The cool thing about this too is I have access to things that come out on the menu, like new items that come out real quick. So while Nova's over there reviewing the food, maybe a week after me, I'll be already raking in the views. I'll be already raking in the views of this, I guess, investment, you can say, because it truly is an investment. If I start doing mukbangs, how you say it? Everybody always makes fun of the way I say it. I don't know. But if I start eating food for money on camera, this could be great for me, because I would get access to items like the Golden Arch Burger, whatever the fuck it's called, days prior to anybody else. This is big stuff. This could be a lot of growth, a lot future content for the channel, future content, really. It's actually crazy how much doors this job has opened for me. Truly, truly, truly.
Now, I could have mentioned it in my last segment, but I thought it'd be a little bit funnier to hold it till now, because the Leaping Lemur, as he said during his video when everyone liked him, he's like, listen, you just can't come onto the internet and expect people to like you. If people make videos calling you out, it is what it is. But you absolutely cannot get on the internet and say, look, I don't respect my viewers. I don't respect my fans. I'm only here for money. You guys suck, because nobody cares. And Lemur would proceed to do this same exact thing later on. He's like, listen here, guys, I've got a fake job at McDonald's. Like, that's so cool. You're bragging about an imaginary job you should have. Those $15K in taxes are staring a hole right through you, buddy. You better get to it before you figure it out, persons. Like, that's nothing to joke with. But Lemur's like, yeah, I'll just get an imaginary McDonald's job, and then proceed to make no other videos, because people don't care. They're not watching watching my videos, they're pausing as soon as I start, and then they scroll, they wait for somebody else to make a video like McGrubba or Mayor Menace, and then they move on with their day. They have their laugh, and that's it.
I'll tell you a really crazy story that just happened like a few nights ago. You know, I was tasked with cleaning up the toilets, and I was, you know, cleaning the men's restroom. And I walk in there, and first of all, like, you know, when you walk into a men's restroom, you expect the smell to be pretty bad, right? Like, usually men's restrooms are pretty unpleasant. They aren't really pleasant to begin with, right? They have some kind of like weird smell to them. It's disgusting. Honestly, all restrooms do. You know what I mean? Like, all restrooms, I'm sure, have some kind of weird smell. It wasn't the base smell of the restroom that I was smelling. Let's just call it the base smell. It wasn't the base smell. It was something different. This was like an added extreme. It was pungent in my nose. It made my eyes water, and it made me gag, like an instant like reflex just to gag into my mouth. You know, I look to my left and I look to my right. It's kind of like it's almost like I was in the jungle, right? It's like an instinctual thing. Like I was in the jungle and I just knew something wasn't right, and my instincts were like, look left and right, you know? So I did, and I see the urinal is there was a shit in the urinal. It's not how the urinal is supposed to look. There was I guess a brown fudge sort of like thing. I was tasked with cleaning that, and I gotta say, this is probably one of the worst things that I've ever been tasked with doing in a job. You know, this was probably one of the worst, most demeaning things that somebody could have made me do. I had to get the cleaning solution. First I took like, you know, I had to take something and get it out of there. And we don't like to call ourselves janitors. I don't like to call myself a janitor. I like to call myself a cleaning manager. You know, I feel like that sounds a little bit better in my head. But that's the official job title, whatever. This is something that I have to deal with because of you, because of each and every one of you. This is something that I personally have to deal with in my life. I don't know what it'll take to prove my innocence to y'all. I'll take a lie detector test at this point. I'm 100% confident. I'm maintaining my innocence. But to be demeaned in this manner, to be degraded like this, is insane. And I blame each and every one of you. I tried filling out every application in the book, and it's like you guys manifested this shit by telling me to put the fries in the bag all the time. It's like you manifested this truly, some kind of fucking like negative energy shit. And I'm just asking it to stop. Stop with the negative energy. Can we get some positive energy? You know, truly, what happened to the positive energy in the world? I don't want to get emotional here, but people used to be positive on the internet. Also, about that thing with the lie detector, like Keemstar should reach out to me or something. I saw what's that fool's name? Pescor. What's your name, dude? You know me. You begged me to come on your show back when I was popular. You were in my comments or whatever, right? Like, you know Keemstar, you were the executive producer of Drama Alert or whatever ask him about it, dude. I'm down to go on lolcow live. We can do like what was that guy's name? A Maury style lie detector test.
Only the prey turned predator, the leaping lemur, would be hanging around bathrooms enough to learn the base smell of them. You go in, you go out as fast as possible, but the leaping lemur is pulling a quagmire. He's just hanging above the stalls, really putting his name to good work. I mean, there's a reason this guy kept a lemur stuffy right next to his desk. That's it. And speaking of pungent smells, that's just a faint smell of brie cheese that just happens to follow you everywhere, lemur. Don't worry about that. You just happen to catch an instance of not being nose blind. We all experience that around you, or at least people in California do. Those poor people. And speaking of poor people, calling out Pescator even though you was super hyped when he first messaged you, acting like you didn't care whatsoever, just because like everyone else, he called you out for what you did because it was that surprising and heinous, you know. Who would have thought? But you know, the leaping lemur just thought everyone would just buckle down and be like, you know what, we're gonna give him a pass on this one for some reason. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever, but You know, it's the Lemur's thoughts. And the Lemur's thoughts really made him believe he could beg Keemstar to be on lolcow Live. Like, lolcow Live will stoop really low, but I don't think they'll stoop as low as you. And what entertainment factor would you bring? Your live streams were terrible, you know, I had to carry the weight every single time I was ever on one. So, like, come on now, guy. You can't be on lolcow Live. Boogie would run circles around you. That'd be the most he ever ran in his life. If you ever want to do a podcast with somebody now, you need to have somebody you can keep up pace. Do it with Nova. You guys have very similar stepsis interests, so you can ponder on that. But, you know, that's enough for me today, guys. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to drop a like, subscribe, follow all the socials down below, use the new hype feature, comment, and I'll catch you guys next time.